Woof woof! Hello, furry and non-furry viewers alike. My name is Woof, and I am an avid music fan in the furry community. 2024 has been a very active year for the scene, as many know. As an aspiring furry music journalist, I strive to have good recommendations for people new to the genre, so I am going to attempt to make summary lists of my favorite projects every year. With that being said, it is time to recommend to you 15 of my favorite Furry EPs from 2024. For reference, I am defining an EP as a 3 to 8 track project that does not exceed 30 minutes. If your project made it onto this list, I see your work as more than worthy of praise, as I listened to around 150 EPs from the community this year. Congratulate yourself for making an amazing body of work. What an achievement! Without further ado, let us begin at my number 15 spot, which I am giving to a fox named Coyote for First Snow. Over a year in the making, Coyote explores multiple strikes of rock on First Snow, from acoustic singer-songwriter to pop punk, all with an early 2000s flair. To me, the heart of this EP is in the poetry which Coyote writes and delivers with grace. She reflects on the passage of time, past relationships, and self-love, with regular reference to nature and the outdoors. The trio of Your Azure Eyes, I Wish I Loved You, and 10 Years is especially sure to impress with just how tightly written and tender they are. Coyote's warm vocals are the perfect vessel to deliver her songwriting, on top of clean and punchy instrumentals. From the very start to the end, this EP has a really friendly vibe, and I am excited to see where Coyote goes from here. Such a promising debut. Next, at number 14, we have Trendy's Virtua. This is one of the most unique projects I think I have heard in 2024, even outside of the furry community. For nearly 15 minutes, Trendy explores the many fruitier arrow-like sounds you might see paired with educational television from the 80s, with a surprisingly detailed and studied approach. Fans of Vaporwave would definitely get something out of this project, for its otherworldly and MIDI-like aesthetics, and for how accurate the sound palette is to its source material. While most of Virtua is filled with tracks that make you feel like you are soaring into a new dimension of understanding, it ends on a more grounded note with a sentimental 80s teen synth tune that almost plays out like a lullaby. Trendy is not only playing with a kitsch of it all, they are having fun with it, and I am loving it too. Moving on to number 13, we have Xaev with Just Dansen. Australian producer Xaev is giving us an EP loaded with many throwback aesthetics to early 2000s electronic and dance, complete with drum and bass scattered throughout. I think my favorite thing about this project is its contrast between bright and dark instrumentation, Xaev often pairing them in creative and fun ways, like the dark 808s and chilling pads, with the bright synth leads and keys on the opener, or the amazingly danceable bass line versus the sleazy synths and vocals on track 3. Hash function is another highlight, with how exciting the synth arpeggios and drums are, paired with the chilled-out vocals and pianos. From start to end, this EP feels like the fun night out Perry the Platypus must be having on the cover. Props to Xaev for bringing back these aesthetics in such a neat way. At spot number 12, we have Furry Loser's brand new EP, Skunk Jones. While this EP was released very late in December, Skunk Jones has more than proven itself worthy of a spot on this list. Reigning from Canada, Furry Loser has a staple indie rock charm that seeps into every minute of this project, kicking things off strong with a very anthemic brandy. I absolutely love the whistling on the back end of this, and the exciting indie kissed instrumentation. What I really adore about Skunk Jones as a whole is the character in the lyrics, almost every song telling the story of a different person, National Treasure Man being the strongest example of this. Similarly, Furry Loser being a self-referential track is just as silly as it is cute, telling the story of how he found a home in the furry community with a delightfully humorous tone. Kudos to Furry Loser for putting out a project with this much charm. At number 11, we have I Love You So Much with Illy Solos. This is an 8-track mixtape by Canadian rapper I Love You So Much, also known as Scuff God, who is known for writing clever lyrics with a healthy dose of humor. What I love about this mixtape is how much personality Illy weaves into every single track, navigating the whole thing with bold and very eccentric deliveries. Her confidence is the guiding light of the project, which she's more than willing to flaunt at the listener on the opener. She's also no stranger to dissing her enemies in very entertaining ways, even downright bullying them on the chorus of Pussy. There are jazz samples woven into almost every beat here, which sound great over Illy's flows, but she also dabbles with noise rap on tracks like On and Don't Do Blow. This whole EP is just a very entertaining listen and a great display of Illy's raw talent in the hip-hop field. We are finally getting to our top 10, hooray! Let us continue with our number 10 spot, which goes to Azernion's Desolation. Our third Canadian in a row, wow! French-Canadian producer Azernion has come through with a dubstep EP that never lets you get bored. I like Azernion's work here because it is atypical to most other dubstep in the community. They experiment just enough to keep things fresh throughout the project, while not losing their taste for what makes this genre good. The beats here go crazy, the crunchy and distorted vocals on the opener almost feel inspired by Death Grips. It goes so hard! Her sound continues to be abstract and distorted on the remaining tracks, my favorite of them all probably being Desolation. She clearly has fun in this lane. All the experiments throughout are very intriguing and scratch the right itch for people wanting a lot of good variation in their dubstep. Nice work, Azernion! At number 9, we have BASSDOG with AFTERPARTY. Based in the Netherlands, BASSDOG graces us with a party-ready EP that hyperpop fans will surely enjoy. This EP is full of EDM synths, heavy bass, and lighting drums. The track stereo feels like the clearest nod to hyperpop artists like 100X with its pitched-up vocals and sugary sweet EDM production, not to mention its catchy melodies and lyrics. The beats on Just One You and One For Me go hard too, maybe the latter more so, which I am very happy about given it is AFTERPARTY's longest song. I do think my favorite track is the brief but anthemic party song, which has one of the catchiest refrains of all. It is an extremely danceable banger I cannot get enough of. BASSDOG continues to live up to his name. This whole project really packs a punch on all fronts. Spot number 8 goes to the very sweet EP Daisies by Lazypines. Scottish artist Lazypines has an indie pop charm that cannot be denied. The lyrics on this whole thing are very sentimental, Lazypines singing about love, heartbreak, and recovery in a way that is direct but very endearing. Marry Me with a Backyard Daisies still sticks with me, as brief of a moment as it is. The whole project feels DIY in the best way, from the raw vocals to the live instrumentation, complete with beautiful guitar plucking throughout. Questions and Daisy Chain are both lovely pop tunes that serve as a warm welcome whenever I hit play on this EP. Lazypines' folk sensibilities come out more on roots, rivers, with instrumentation he is very good at building throughout the song's runtime, making for the most grand presentation of all. The somber city sounds makes for a very warm closer that is a perfect end to the EP's narrative. What a touching and sweet project! Lucky number 7 is for Nobonoko with their EP The Jolly Critters Wish You a Merry Christmas. I was not expecting a Christmas project to end up on this list, but when Nobonoko releases music, you know you are in for high-quality instrumental work. Coming from Brazil, Nobo continues making very fun lounge jazz, but this time, with even stronger video game influence, most of the sounds on this project sounding like they could come from a Nintendo game. The entire 25 minutes is very cute, but also very detailed when it comes to the arrangements. You might expect this record to be made up of Christmas covers, but the only song that does that is a brief Jingle Bells chiptune rendition. Afterwards, it is all original pieces, which come off very seasonal and wintry, with how many bells there are, even if they are subtle. Nobo plays around with a variety of synth instruments across the project's runtime, keeping things fresh and interesting with each track. If you like your music to beep and boop, this is the EP you will want to play every December. Coming in at number 6 is Pararaccoon with Saturday Morning Block. This is a garage rock EP with a lot of unique character. That is, each track focuses on a unique character. Para has penned one of the coolest concepts for an EP on this list, writing each song like it is a theme for a different goofy cartoon character. From the very first track, we are introduced to Victor the Kid, and then later the very chill surfer Majo Duck, and the very delicious Minty the Lion. He plays into the campy nature of old cartoon intros in a really compelling way, as if inviting you to imagine what each song's character could look like. I also cannot go without mentioning Reich, with how exciting its heavy guitar chugs get when they pair with the vocals. Great performances, great hooks, and fun ideas all throughout this EP. I love coming back to this one. Next, at number 5 I would like to shout out Popbot for their EP Creature. This is a whimsical and beautifully textured project by electronic producer Popbot, whose sensibilities when pairing organic instruments and digital elements go unmatched in 2024. People who love experimental artists like Matmos might enjoy this project, many of these songs feeling like they take you on journeys to faraway places. The pads and twinkling bells all over glint are nothing short of magical, and the preceding track Creature hits you hard with some of the most exciting horn sections I have heard this year. The arrangements here are so detailed without becoming cluttered. Popbot is sure to bend your mind while hitting you with some very wondrous peaks. After the mystical and atmospheric deep hollow, the project ends on another track that is constantly introducing thrilling synth hits that will be very pleasing to listeners who like lots of textures. Stunning work. I love this sound and I hope Popbot continues exploring this lane of electronic. At number 4 is the insanely playful TESTBLOC by AQUASINE. AQUASINE plays with many digital sounds on this electronic EP to the point where it pretty much becomes a concept. The hit, crushed Vocaloids on Wire Cruncher feel just as cute as they are thematic, Aqua's lyrics about crunching on computer wires only adding to the track's charm. Puzzle Room is even more evocative and funky, with lyrics instructing a video game player to complete tasks in a puzzle room. The very internet-coded aesthetics continue onto the next track, which is an instrumental that hits the listener with fat bass, mystical pads, and plenty of quirky and cute samples throughout. The fun continues onto the final track, Paint, which just feels like another good helping of all the equally abstract and bit-crushed aesthetics from before. Overall, just a very tight set of tracks I would love to blast from my Nintendo DS. It is time for the top 3 spots. At number 3, we have the most hardcore EP on this list, the terrifying Golden Stag by Dear. The inspiration for this metal EP comes from a short story done by comic artist Pajama Pat, which depicts a deer searching for a mystical golden stag in a forest. During their search, the other forest creatures warn the deer to turn back due to how dangerous the legendary beast is. It is a beautiful comic with a great ending, and this EP captures the energy of Pajama's comic perfectly while making its story 10 times more abrasive and immediate. Genuinely, even if this EP is the shortest on my list at 6.5 minutes, it is such a thrilling 4 tracks that I cannot help but sit on edge the whole time I am listening. The guttural screaming and hard guitar hits on the story draws the listener in almost immediately, very quickly introducing you to the setting and the main character. The band tones it down a moment on the warning to give the listener some brooding exposition, then going right back into more heavy metal that is delightfully scary, slowing down to a pensive and horrifying ending for people familiar with the comic. We pick right back up with heavier sounds on The Question, which features some of the project's craziest vocal performances. The answer ends the EP in total chaos, which is perfect for the story's tragic end. This is a very brief but insanely moshable project that is perfect for anyone wanting to shoot some furry metal into their veins. My number 2 spot goes to the magnificent Retrograde by Starkeeper. Starkeeper is a UK-based composer who has decided to reinvent a handful of pieces by the popular furry producer Frisk. While Frisk has an iconic keyboard-led sound, Starkeeper reinvents Frisk's music into orchestral and jazz fusions that are nothing short of impressive for the entire 25 minutes. With lush and varied instrumental passages, Star employs so much creativity in this EP that it becomes a beast of its own, even if a majority of the pieces here are covers. That being said, there are 2 original pieces, which serve as great segues between the Frisk covers. The beautiful strings and saxophones on Combo Central and Vivid jump whisk me away every time I return to them. By far, though, the most impressive feat on this entire project is Starkeeper's reinterpretation of Frisk's iconic track, All My Fellas, which Star extends to a 10-minute orchestral jazz epic. This insanely impressive EP is a must-listen for any fans of Frisk, or any fans of detailed, lush jazz. And now, the moment you have all been waiting for. I am awarding my #1 spot to an EP that, outside of the fact it has earned its merits by being an amazing body of work, is a fitting top pick for 2024, given the resurgence of indie sleaze in the pop sphere. Of course, I am referring to none other than Dance, Cunt, emvtionaL by Bliss. While this EP is only 3 tracks long, this has to be the catchiest and most memorable hyperpop material I have heard from the furry community this year. The first track, Double, introduces the EP with a raging synth bass and chaotic affectations, keeping the hype constant throughout. The next track, Hard, is an absolute banger, with Russell Buchan as a guest producer. A fitting feature, given Russell's current and very successful air dabbling in similar rave-ready sounds. The bass on Hard is incessant and the beat is distorted and fun all over, only being interrupted by Bliss's la 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 refrain, which makes for a perfect contrast. The third and final track, Portrait of Self-Hatred, feels like the clearest throwback to 2010's pop, and Bliss does this sound so much justice, with great melodies and an anthemic chorus. What really sells this EP for me is Bliss's electrifying vocal performances and lyrics, especially on the last track, where his voice is given more room to shine. While most of the lyrics on this EP have been cheeky and focused on having a good time, the final track discusses self-hatred, which does make me question whether the first 2 tracks were to be taken as escapist. I love the extra dynamic that is added with the last track. It only adds more to the narrative of an already amazing set of pop bangers. I am so looking forward to whatever Bliss does next if this is the kind of quality we are getting. Props to you, Bliss. Those are my top furry EPs of 2024. I hope you find these to be good recommendations. The projects discussed will all be linked in the description. Be sure to support these artists on their Bandcamp pages, as that is the best way for indie musicians to make profit from their work. As for me, expect an albums list for 2024 soon. It is taking me longer to finish as there is so much more material to cover. Unfortunately, I will not be doing a singles list this year, since there are too many songs to keep track of, but I am already keeping tabs on new music in the community so I can have one for 2025. Thank you for watching, furry friends. Woof signing out. Woof woof.